I don't know why I did both hands, but screw it. Welcome to another episode of the Dirty Dell Dats podcast, baby. Alright, if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please like and subscribe in the channel below, or go follow my Facebook page, go follow my Instagram page, you name it. I got both. I actually just opened up both of them today because I've been getting some local support little by little. I just figured, why not start expanding on the horizon, go to further into social media. Now, I haven't thought about TikTok yet. We'll cross that bridge later on, but I'm considering it. But yeah, with that being said, today's episode we're mainly going to be talking about the quarterback situation with the Saints, what that might look like, how that could impact the team, etc. But before we get into that, here's today's Data's question. Who do you think will be the starter for the New Orleans Saints next season? Who do you think? Do you think it'll be Tyler Shough? Do you think it'll be Spencer Rattler? Or do you think he'll be, God forbid, Derek Carr? So, leave the initials of each player in the comments below of who do you think will be the starter of next season. Alrighty, y'all. So, very excited to talk some football today. So, by the way, I just want to give a thank you to everybody that I've reached out to that has come by and supported my channel. I've only been doing this for a month, and honestly, it's a little hard work. I'm not going to lie. It's hard work bringing a channel up, especially when you're brand new to this game. And while I'm not like a legit reporter or anything like that, I just love talking football in general. But I just want to take this time to really thank y'all for just not reaching out, but supporting me as I've been growing this channel. This channel's only a month old, but I'm absolutely loving every second of it. So I just want to just personally thank you for just supporting me along this way, because let's be honest, I'm sure this applies to you as well. ESPN, I think, has lost their way. I think a lot of sports news stations has lost their way. I think they're just so busy trying to chase a narrative, trying to make certain players look bad, and etc. Bring players down, bring coaches down. You know what? It's sickening. How's that sports? That's the number one question I ask. And you know, that's kind of what my channel is going to be mainly dedicated, is analyzing each player's strengths and weaknesses, each team's strengths and weaknesses. Well, really mainly the Saints, but you get what I'm going for. But the point I'm trying to make is I want it to be focused on sports. Sure, I'll mention some shenanigans here and there, because why not? Because we do love some shenanigans. But at the same time, that should not be the focal point of everything. But yeah, with that being said, sorry for the mini rant there, but I really hope you enjoy this video that I'm doing right now. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this topic. So as we all know, the Saints had drafted Tyler Shough for the let me start that part over. The Saints drafted Tyler Shough in the second round of the NFL 2025 draft, and as y'all saw, initially I wasn't too thrilled. I mean, people on social media know I was definitely not so thrilled. I was actually quite upset. When you think of Tyler Shough, you don't think of him as a starting quarterback material. I kind of still don't. But there's been some circumstances that may possibly change my mind. So I did a little more extra digging on his tape. And let me tell you, I know I displayed some tape on my previous video, but there's some things I'm catching new stuff about this guy that I just didn't consider beforehand. The one thing I did notice that I did not mention in my last video is his accuracy is pretty good. Pretty good. I know I briefly mentioned it in the last video. I put up his overall stats, but just watching him on tape, he can actually spread that ball around pretty well. And when healthy, and of course that's been my biggest concern for him, is when he's healthy, he could be a beast to be reckoned with. And slowly but surely, perhaps I'm starting to believe in him a little bit. But there was a couple other factors too, and this is, I guess you could say, not exactly sports related, but it kind of is. So, what was the first thing that Derek Carr did wrong when he first got to New Orleans? I think a lot of people on Twitter will know this one. But I'll go ahead and answer that for y'all. The one thing that Derek Carr failed to do in New Orleans was embrace New Orleans. Now, you're thinking, what does that have to do with him performing? Well, it kind of ties in because, I mean, look at the Saints' face. We're passionate about our team. We love this team to death. If they lose, we're having a bad day. If they win, we're having a glorious day, no matter how bad it is at work or something. The team kind of changes how our moods are. Not personally, not for me, but that's a different story I'm not going to get into. But it affects me in some aspect to like, oh, we really lost again. Damn it. But at the same time, I don't let it be the sole focus for me. But we're not going to get to that right at this minute. But the one thing that I did notice right off the bat was Derek Carr just didn't embrace New Orleans very well. And that's why, when I mentioned videos earlier, that's why I don't think he was fully settled in New Orleans, because he just didn't know how to embrace it. Like, the first thing I remember, I laughed at it at first, but at this point it's become kind of sad. The first thing Derek Carr did was go to Chipotle in New Orleans. You could go to Chipotle like in, I don't know, New York, Green Bay, Los Angeles, I don't know, somewhere that has Chipotle, some big city name. But New Orleans? Like, us New Orleanians know this. I mean, I know I'm a Slidell guy, but I don't care. I kind of call myself New Orleanian anyway. But us New Orleanians know better, because New Orleans serves the best food. Hands down. There's no contest. In this country, that is. I can't speak for other countries, but New Orleans has the best food. We have the richest culture. And on top of that, we get along with just about anybody. And we have the nicest personalities. Our southernness makes us welcome anybody, no matter where you're from. You could be from freaking Mexico, or maybe from, I don't know, China or something like that. But the thing is, it's like we embrace anybody that comes here. But here's the thing: if you don't embrace us, you're getting the nasty side of us. I'm being honest with you, because New Orleans, I've learned, is extremely petty. Like, they are a whole level of pettiness. And I've been living in New Orleans for quite some time. Because, I was born and raised in Slidell, and I love my hometown, the Dirty Dell. That's actually the name of my podcast. That's the inspiration behind it, because I gotta give my props to my hometown. But when you've been living in New Orleans, you just really pick up a lot of things. It's like you understand that New Orleans is petty when people start talking bad about you, or about their food, about the culture, really those three big things. And if you just don't embrace them, they're not going to embrace you back. That's a given. That's a hard given. And that's something Derek Carr just failed to do. He really failed to do that. And it's a shame, because, I met him twice. I thought he was really nice, and I wanted it to work out with him, but he didn't pull through. And it's unfortunate. So here's where Tyler Shough stands out from Derek Carr. Tyler Shough already, from day one, he made an Instagram post, which I'll post momentarily. He made an Instagram post indicating that he will literally die in the field for New Orleans. He is ready to get to work. Now I'm like, time out. We don't want you to die out there. Please don't do that. But we get the point. He is ready. He is motivated. And that caught my attention. I'm like, okay, all right. I like that. You're trying to win us over. I like that. Because as you saw on day 2 of the draft, we were just livid. Like, we were not happy whatsoever. And here he is back in town officially. He went to Drago's. Now, to those out there who don't know what Drago is, a lot of local people here in New Orleans do. Drago's is one of the best oyster houses in New Orleans, and they happen to live like 10 minutes from me. And I have to give him a hand of applause because, I mean, Derek Carr certainly didn't do that. Tyler Shough does it in day 2, and he's just a rookie. A rookie doing that in day 2. He's already starting to gain my trust a little bit more. And on top of that, just kind of reviewing his performance really starts to make me believe in him a little more. Now, do I still have a lot of concerns? Absolutely, because I still think his injury past might come back to bite him. I hope it doesn't. God forbid. On top of that, he definitely needs to learn how to not be so frantic in the pocket. That's one thing I definitely picked up on. So he needs to stay calm in the pocket and just make those throws. Like, when you give him enough time, he's going to make those throws. And on top of that, when he was pressured, I wouldn't completely blame him for all that. What I will say is that I know that his O-line wasn't that good at Louisville, but that just adds to the pros because our offensive line hasn't been that good either. But we just added some new pieces to it, so we're hoping with a younger O-line and a healthier O-line, and we already got an All-Pro in Eric McCoy. Whew, that O-line could be a wrecking force to be met with. Whew, man, like I'm getting goosebumps over that. Now I had to see it on the field first because getting excited about something is one thing, and I'm trying to hype up Tyler Shough to the best of my abilities. But at the same time, I'm a realistic kind of man. I know what the team is like right now, and I have to see my own 2 things that's inside my head. Yes, I'm talking about my eyeballs. I have to see it in person first before I can make certain judgment calls saying, oh, yeah, I feel confident about this guy. So, with that being said, I'm starting to build a little faith in this kid. I'm starting to build a little faith. Now, here's a question that I've been seeing from social media lately is what's going to happen with Spencer Rattler? Now, as y'all mentioned, I came up with 2 scenarios. But scenario 1 would be they start with Spencer Rattler for the whole season, and I see how he pans out. If he doesn't pan out well, we find ourselves a quarterback. If it doesn't, we get a top 5 draft pick. But the second scenario would be drafting a quarterback, which they did. Just not who I personally thought they were going to get. But they did draft a quarterback, and we'll see how he really performs this year. If he does get the starting job, of course. In my opinion, he probably will. And I'll talk about that in just a second. So, but going back to Spencer Rattler, this might give Rattler an opportunity to really outperform Tyler Shough. And of course, he's got some... Spencer Rattler already has a slight edge. I say slight because it really is not much. I mean, we're talking about this much. And I say that because Tyler Shough, I personally think, just based off how he performed, he's definitely better than Spencer Rattler. I hate to admit that, but it's quite true. Tyler Shough looks more athletic than, well, maybe not as athletic as, say, Spencer Rattler, because Spencer Rattler is a good running type of quarterback. The only the few differences that stand out is Rattler kind of does... they actually have that in common now I'm thinking about it. Both Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough both have an inability to evade pressure from the opposing defenses. Like they can't handle pressure well. But the one thing I noticed that stood out was Tyler Shough is a lot more accurate than Spencer Rattler. And while I think Spencer Rattler has a lot of potential to have a great arm in the NFL and to be a great quarterback, he has a lot of downsides too that I just I can't just ignore, Like, Spencer Rattler right now has the edge because he already has a lot of starts over Tyler Shough. Well, I mean, duh, because Tyler Shough just got here, so that's a given. But Tyler Shough, I am giving more of an edge to because even though he has no NFL starts yet, I think he has a bigger edge because he just looks better out there than Spencer Rattler. Like, significantly better. Like, even in his college days, I mean, I'm talking about Spencer Rattler here. Even in his college days, Spencer Rattler had his high moments, but he couldn't execute very well with with South Carolina. I know South Carolina was a whole mess themselves, but they got to at least, I think, 9 wins with Spencer Rattler. That's still pretty good. But that also begs the question, is Spencer Rattler a 9-win kind of guy, at least in college terms, or is that really more like, is he a 6-win kind of guy in NFL terms? It really makes you think about that for a minute. Now you look at Tyler Shough, who also had 9 wins, I think, last season. And he's also got a few bowl wins under his belt. Makes you wonder, is he more of a 9, maybe 10-win NFL kind of quarterback, or is he more of a 7, 8-win kind of quarterback, if you know what I mean? So it really kind of makes you think. So it really divides the two of them, and like it just proves that Tyler Shough is better than Spencer Rattler. And of course, I'll support both of them. Like, I love Spencer Rattler, and I'm going to probably eventually love Tyler Shough as well. But it really starts to make you think about things a little bit. It's like you put things in perspective. You saw how Rattler played once already. Now, granted, there was a lot of context involved, so I don't want to like completely blame Rattler for all those mistakes he made, but he made a lot of rookie mistakes along the way. Do I expect Tyler Shough to do the same? Possibly, yeah, absolutely. But if Tyler Shough proves to be a significant better quarterback than Spencer Rattler, we got to go with him. And I'm just being honest. Like, I would love to give Spencer Rattler the absolute shot that he deserves. Because I've seen how quarterbacks that are similar to Rattler pan out, where they have a lot of potential and a lot of raw talent hidden in them. It's just they cannot develop very well in the NFL, and they just end up being career backups or completely out of the NFL. They're playing for the UFL, which is the Spring Football League. And I've seen that with an former Ole Miss quarterback named Matt Corral. Matt Corral was drafted in, I think, the 3rd or 4th round in the 2023 draft. He went to the Panthers, and I thought, okay, well, at least he got drafted, and he's probably a better starter than what they currently had. What the Panthers do, they kind of screwed him over. Now, of course, I might sound a little bit biased when it comes to that, but they really did screw him over, though, because they didn't really give him a shot, because immediately that first year that Matt Corral was with them, he tore his ACL in the middle of practice. He didn't even get a chance to play in preseason or the regular season that year. The next year comes by. We all know what happened there. Bryce Young of Alabama was drafted by the Panthers. So he was basically battling against Bryce Young. Matt Corral looked nice out there while playing his first actual NFL games, even if it's just preseason. They chose Bryce Young over him anyway. And Bryce Young just sucked that year. Now, granted, Bryce Young has done a little better since then, but that's not the point. The point I'm making is poor Matt Corral was never given a fair shot. And I preach giving a fair shot to just about anybody. And that's why I want Spencer Rattler to get a shot. That's the point I was trying to make here, is give Spencer Rattler a proper shot to see what he's made of before actually giving it the nod to Tyler Shough. I mean, because we're all expecting we're all expecting this season to just be an absolute wash. We know we're not making a Super Bowl. There's no chance of that whatsoever. It would take a miracle for us to be Super Bowl contenders, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. Like, we're at best maybe a 6-7 win team at the very best, and that's with the quarterbacks that we got on this roster. With that being said, let's give Spencer Rattler a shot. If he fails us within the first 4 or 5 games of next season, let's get Tyler in. Now, again, I am not the head coach. I can't make these decisions. This is what I think should happen. But the Saints will think otherwise. Kellen Moore's going to think otherwise. He may really want his guy out there over Spencer Rattler, because Spencer Rattler was Dennis Allen's guy last season, and he just simply didn't pan out. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens by then, because that's what's got me really interested in seeing what this quarterback is made of, with Tyler Shough entering the picture, and how we get to really see what he's made of. Like, I kid you not, I swear, if Tyler Shough ends up being similar to Drew Brees, and I know that's saying a lot, because Drew Brees is the ultimate GOAT of New Orleans Saints. The GOAT of the NFL, at least one of them. Everyone says Tom Brady, but I disagree. That's a subject for another time. But I'm saying, like, if Tyler Shough ends up being just remotely close to Drew's level, and we all know how Drew panned out. Like, Drew came into here, he wasn't a rookie or anything, but he came here with 3 years of experience under his belt with the Chargers, and everyone thought, oh, he's got a bad shoulder, he ain't gonna do any good anymore. His career is toast. And usually that's correct, because usually when quarterbacks have a significant shoulder injury, and I know from experience, my left shoulder here, when I used to play football, I dislocated it so many times, and I just couldn't play sports anymore, or at least like football. I mean, I still play like catch football with my friends, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking like full contact sports. So, and I kind of have that understanding of athletes in their health, because I used to also work in a physical therapy clinic, and I got to see these high school athletes, a few college athletes, and they had some an ACL tear or an Achilles tendon tear, or maybe a rotator cuff tear. I didn't have a rotator cuff. I had a dislocation, but it's close to the same thing. It really does set them back. And it really does, especially players who have Achilles heels, Achilles tears, or ACL tears. Those set them back badly. And shoulder tears for quarterbacks they're worse. So if a quarterback has a shoulder tear, you're screwed. You're screwed. But thank God that didn't happen to us, especially to Drew Brees, because Drew Brees ended up being one of the greatest quarterbacks in a Saints uniform in Saints history, and one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. And I love that. So that is what I'm hoping for in Tyler Shough. That is what I'm hoping for. Will it happen? I don't know. He could end up being a Brandon Weeden 2.0. Now, if you're wondering who's Brandon Weeden, in short, Brandon Weeden was drafted. He was one of the oldest quarterbacks drafted. I think he was like Tyler Shough's age, and he's about to turn 26. Brandon Weeden, I think, was closer to maybe 28, if I'm correct. I have to double check that, but Brandon Weeden sucked his entire career. And his career was very short. He played with the Browns. He showed flashes that he could be good maybe, but he just didn't fit. He just didn't work out at all. And he ended up being a career backup. We haven't heard from him since then. I wonder what he's doing to this day. I will have to look him up. But that's another thing that I'm fearful for is, will Tyler Shough be another Brandon Weeden 2.0? I sure hope to God that is not true, because that would absolutely suck, and we would have another bad year. I mean, we're already expecting a pretty mediocre year next season, but by next season, there'll be a fresher, more attractive crops of quarterbacks in next year's draft. So, we'll see what happens. So, anyway, with that being said, hope you all enjoyed this video today, and give me your thoughts on what like I said, give your thoughts on who should be the Saints quarterback entering next season. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed this video. Alright, gang. See y'all later. Who that, baby?